Good evening, folks. This is Steve KI5JUF. Hope everyone's having a good evening out there. So this evening I've been working on a kind of a continuing project. I've been working with the Kodak, trying to come up with a way to pull the actual audio directly through the FT991A, the way it would sound when you speak into the microphone and actually talk into the microphone. And I've kind of been working on this in two parts. The first process is actually pretty simple. If you want to just record a VHF QSO using the headset where you can hear me through the Jabara, but I'm actually talking into the microphone. So if you imagine having a microphone and a Jabara headset right there, you're hearing me through the headset, but yet the other person's hearing me through the microphone. So that part of it, I think, is pretty simple. It's FM. It's not a big deal from an acoustical standpoint. So I have been able to record some successful QSOs, and they've come out pretty good. So I like them. So it seems to work pretty good. So what I'm trying to do is document a process to record a standard VHF QSO. I would just simply set my audio input to the codec, which is the actual digital audio stream coming from the radio, and then I would set my output up for the headset where I could actually hear it. So that part's pretty simple. The second part that's not so simple is if I actually want to pull audio directly from the radio. Now what that involves is I would have to, again, leave the input on the digital codec signal coming from the radio. Now what I have to do here is I have to disconnect my Jabara headsets because I get feedback and I'm not sure why. So what I do is I just simply set my audio output to go to the speakers on the computer, and the speakers are turned down so you can't actually hear them. But the difference is on the Screen-O-Matic, what I do is I go in and I change the narration. Instead of coming from the uh, Jabara headsets right here, I change it to the codec. So now what happens is all the digital data or all the digital microprocessor and the speech processor and everything, you get to hear that when I press the transmit button. So it allows us to be able to go in and look at some of these more finer settings on the radio, such as the width, the shift, and some of those settings. And then, of course, the last thing we do is we leave the computer setting to on. So that's what I'm kind of curious tonight. What I want to try to do is I'm going to run a video here shortly, just right after this one. I'll tie them both together. And I want to see if you can hear any distinguishable differences in the audio. So I'm going to go through and do some things with the speech processor, and I'm going to do some things with the width. And I want you to see, can you hear the difference? Because according to the manual on page 67 on the single sideband, if you change the width, that affects both the receive and the transmit. Excuse me. And I want to verify that. And I tried it earlier and I think I could hear some difference, but I'm going to do it in a video and see if other folks can hear the difference. And one thing you might want to do is try listening on headphones and see if you can tell the difference too, because my curiosity is I've always been curious. There's a couple of features in the 991A that I'm struggling with. One of them is the narrow and wide. Now, the narrow and wide, from everything I've read, says it only affects the FM transmit signal. However, on the receive, it does impact the HF, but it does not affect the transmit on the HF. So that's on page 52, I think. So I'm kind of trying to figure all this out, but I want you to listen. And if you'll reference page 67, this is where it talks about getting more talk power. And this has always been bugging me, and I want to try to get to the bottom of this. So what I'll do is I'm going to stop this video, and we're going to go over and we're going to switch the settings to codec, and then we'll start again. I'll be right back.
All right, good evening, folks. We're back. Going to run a few more tests here real quick. Second part of this video, we're just going to kind of go through and demonstrate the width and primarily the width is what I want to talk about. So what I've got right now is we've got the microphone equalizer mic gain turned down to about 29. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the equalizer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to turn on the processor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. So that's with the processor on. So now what we'll do is that what I want to verify in this video is can we notice a difference if I activate the width command on the FT991A? According to page 67, they say that on the width command, if you use this on the transmit and the receive, it will on the transmit it will narrow your transmit bandwidth, which should give you a little bit more distance power. So I'm going to try this real quick. We're currently set at 24, but I'm going to go ahead and move it up to 32, and I want you to see if you can hear a difference. And what we'll do is I'll go ahead and turn it up to 24 or 3200. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm going to turn it down to 1800, and I want you to see if you can hear a difference. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kilo India 5, Juliet Uniform Foxtrot calling CQ at 2400 kilohertz, or excuse me, 1800 kilohertz bandwidth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're going to move it back up to 2400, which is the default. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're at 3200. This is what they recommend for local rag chews, where you might be talking to your local neighbors and stuff and so forth. So anyway, I just wanted to see if anybody could hear a difference, because I've been bugged about this. There's a narrow and wide function in the manual on page 52 that says the transmit only affects the FM and not the HF, but according to the width setting on page 67, it does adjust all the way across the bandwidth. So I'm at 3200, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm at 1800, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you tell a difference? 1, 2, 3, 4 at 1800. 3200, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I hear a difference, so if you hear one, let me know. The default is 2400 kilohertz for the Yaesu. So we'll put it back to the 2400 kilohertz, and that's normally where the default is. So remember, if you want more narrower concentrated bandwidth, just move it to the left to 1800, 1, 2, 3, 4. And for local rag chews, go all the way to the 3200, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, this is KI5JUF. Hopefully we'll get this resolved, because this has been bugging me for a long time. So KI5JUF, have a good evening, and thanks for watching.